Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 7, Episode 1, Flu-ouise, and Episode 2, See Me Now. I'm going to start off with the synopsis for Flu-ouise. Louise comes home with the flu and pretends to take her medicine. She asks for Coochie Kopi to lay down with, but Linda drops him in the toilet. The family decides to put Coochie in the oven with some rice to get the water out, but end up altering him in the process. Louise gets very angry with her family when she finds out about her favorite toy, and then begins hallucinating from her fever. She imagines her family as her toys and has to make her way to the fortress. She makes it to the fortress and meets good Coochie Kopi. He teaches Louise she should become the forgiving type. While in her fever dream, Teddy tries to help fix Coochie Kopi unsuccessfully, leading to Bob going with Teddy to try to replace Coochie Kopi, but the shopkeeper requires Bob to hear Coochie's story first. Bob returns with a new toy for Louise, and she decides to forgive her family. And what did you get for the vacant storefront?
That's what she sawed tools for women.
I still do that all the time. My coworkers, especially, will say something like, "Hey, that's what she said." And they're just looking at me like, "Why, Katie? Why?"
Sometimes you just have to.
We have our pest control truck.
In Sexual Healing Exterminators.
That's a play on the song for Marvin Gaye's song "Sexual Healing."
Mm-hmm. We had one burger, I believe. That's all I have.
Yes,
That was, and I've had the time of my life burger. I get the pun, but that's so hard to say.
it really is. Oh man. So a preview of this episode was actually screened at the show's panel at the 2016 San Diego Comic Con International, which I really love because
Mm-hmm.
by now the show is really big. Like this is usually around this point shows like I want to say between the 4th and 7th season are really when people start to catch on and start watching more because there's
Mm-hmm.
enough to watch. A lot of people don't want to start off from the new show. I don't know if it's any good. I've noticed that with people, which does not help with Netflix.
No, it does not.
This is the second episode where a character hallucinates that Coochie Kopi is alive. Obviously, like what was it, the second episode? Bob, the crawl space.
Yeah,
Bob
yeah, that's the
imagines
second.
Coochie.
Yeah, that's the second episode of the entire series.
Um, a not so fun fact, and this is because of personal feelings, but the actress and comedian Amy Schumer guest stars in this episode, voicing a character credited as Young Lady, the one who's talking to Clyde through the door.
Okay.
She also guest starred in the season premieres of The Simpsons and Family Guy that originally aired on the same date as this episode, September 25th, 2016. Um,
Interesting.
Only to
Why?
find out it was because, honestly, Fox pushed for it. I guess she was doing a lot at the time, and maybe she was doing doing really well, and so they pushed
Mm-hmm.
for her because originally, this is the okay. So into my next note, this is the longest singular episode of Bob's Burgers, lasting 22 minutes and 2 seconds. The
Mm-hmm.
extended runtime was likely because Amy Schumer's cameo, being at the request of the network, and the scene would have added 20 seconds to the duration. So the network was like, "No, you have to show this."
That's so weird. And like, I mean, this
It's
is
so weird.
I might also find this a more fun fact if I liked Amy Schumer's
See, I'm the
comedy.
same. I don't like Amy Schumer.
Yeah, I can't say
I
I've ever seen. I'm thinking of what it is I've seen her in, and like I would say 9 times out of 10, I don't like it.
She's not funny.
No.
Well, I've seen a lot of other comedians come out about her and be like, she steals jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've actually seen bigger comedians who are actually stand-up comedians in that community, not just famous movie stars, whatever, but just people in the comedian community that are like, no, we don't like her because she steals our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So ever since then, and then they'll show proof. They've shown proof, of
Yeah.
course, their own stand-up, and then Amy Schumer doing the same thing, and it's it's not cool. And just her personality and mine don't align
Yeah.
at all. So just
Mm-hmm.
not. It's kind of like Sarah Silverman. I'm just not a fan.
Yeah, and the issue is like it seems to be the ones like the women stand-up comedians that tend to make
Hmm.
it big are the ones that on the whole I would say at least women don't tend to like, which I feel like it furthers the thing of like women comedians aren't funny. It's like no, just it's the 3% that get pushed to the
Yeah,
top somehow aren't funny. Like
because
there are funny female comedians.
I love Eliza Schlesinger. I think she's
Yes.
hilarious. I
Same.
love her, and she's done amazing stand-up, but she also stands up for, like, women's rights and
Mm-hmm.
speaks out about a lot of different things, which I've noticed not a lot of women comedians won't do because
Yeah.
I guess they think it's gonna, I don't know,
Hurt their
isolate them.
chances. Yeah.
Like, Eliza's like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna say whatever the hell I want," and I love that
Mm-hmm.
about her because she literally does. She'll be like, "I will say what's on my mind," and I really enjoy that about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the other lady's name, but I really love her too because she did one of her sets pregnant. What was her name?
Ali Wong.
She Ali Wong. Thank you. I couldn't remember her name, but yeah, like Ali Wong. I like her comedy as well. But yeah, no, Amy Schumer is not like the network pushing it too. Is just like,
That just makes me feel even worse about it.
ugh. Anyway, so they do actually show Louise's toys in the background of Crawl Space, but now we have names.
Mm-hmm.
And they are based on creatures of Japanese folklore, yokai. And so, of course, we have Bakaneko, Akora Kamui, Dodomeki, and Mizuchi.
I'm just gonna
Um,
call them all Hello Kitty.
I know. I actually wrote that line down because that's like a TikTok sound. I've used
Yeah.
that TikTok sound. What's really cool is within my notes, and I'll be happily post these, like if people want to see it. They have the names in Japanese next to these names.
Hmm.
So it's actually really cool to see. I love seeing stuff like that where you actually get.
Yeah.
I don't know how to read it, but I know what it says.
Yeah.
And of course, oh, I'm sorry, Mizuchi doesn't appear to be directly based on any yokai, but the name is used for a dragon or serpent-like water deity. So there's just
Okay.
it's. I love the amount of like Japanese, like because obviously we also have the Bob and Louise's obsession with that show. So like we
Yes.
kind of see what Louise is very much into, and I feel like that show kind of fed into her like liking these toys. And now
Mm-hmm.
realizing
Yeah.
it's all based off of a book is kind of cool too. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like it's just a TV show that she really loves. It's a book series, which makes it
Yeah.
more fun to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I would
So
agree.
more Louise lore, I guess, is that what
Yeah.
we would refer to that? Um. Oh, and this episode also aired on Dan Mintz's 35th birthday.
Happy birthday, Dan Mintz.
September 25th. You had to work with Amy Schumer. Well, not directly. Like she has like her that's the weirdest part of this is like the network pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously isn't talking to any of the cast
No.
except for like the one character. But the
And
main
even
cast she doesn't interact with,
and even then, without knowing how they exactly filmed it, my guess is she probably didn't film. She probably didn't record it with the cast. Would be my assumption.
which is weird because, like that's how the cast works. They record
Yeah.
together. Even across time
Mm-hmm.
zones, they
Yeah.
record together. So, I don't know. It feels out of place.
It does. No, if it does, especially now knowing that it was an intentional thing across all of like animation domination, it feels very, very strange.
Very. But yeah, so you already know the first line I wrote down because you said it.
I'm just gonna call them all Hello Kitty.
How can she be so sick but still so strong, like the economy?
I wrote that one down too. She's half girl, half grill, all cop.
Man, my family did a number on you. We should kill them. Whoa, what? Too much?
I don't know why I have don't tell me shush on here. I don't know why.
Teddy's coming over and he's bringing his heat gun. Is that a euphemism for his ding dong? Because Gene.
Mm-hmm. Oh great, the timeshare people double booked us.
God. And it is H. John Benjamin who voices Coochie Kopi. So
Yes, it is. I figured that out.
It's so funny.
I have
Do
one
you have
more
any other?
line. Yeah, I have one more. What kind of contractor would put in a destroy fortress button?
Did you notice that the octopus served calamari?
Yes, I did.
I was like, Linda, what are you doing?
It's a Linda octopus. That sounds about right.
Yeah, Akora Kamui. I'm really proud that I was like the names are not that hard to say. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And then like when the guy's telling the story, he sounds like a weird mixture between Smeagol and Stitch.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was very strange. I'll admit, at the very beginning of the episode, when the whole thing with them needing to get the water out, I forgot the Coochie Kopi was also a nightlight.
Oh yeah, I have one.
I forgot, which is why I was like, why did they need it? It's a vinyl toy, just wash it off. But then I remembered that it is also
It's electric. It's got a
electric
battery
sleep.
in it.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But like their thing of like they're being confused as to why Teddy has a heat gun. He's a handyman. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why is that weird for them?
Yeah, I did that part. I didn't fully understand, but the toy salesman, I was like, I know it's a bit, but I was I now even knowing that it was Amy Schumer makes me feel more justified in my dislike of that scene.
That's fair.
Because like I already was like, what is just sell them the fucking toy? Why
But I
do you
love that
need to
it gave
read them a
us an
story?
insight. I guess toys are serious. I don't know. It's like going in and trying to buy Lego, like a Mario Lego, and someone's like, no, you must know the history that is this plumber.
Apparently.
So what did you think
Yeah.
of
I mean,
Flu-ouise?
I liked this. I like a good Fever Dream episode. I'll be honest. Those
Mm-hmm.
usually tend to be a lot of fun because like, the Fever Dream episodes are what gave us. You watched Even Stevens, right?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Okay, so Fever Dream episodes is what gave us that lovely musical episode with "We Went to the Moon in 1969" kind of situation. Like
Mm-hmm.
Fever Dreams are sometimes like I would say like some of the best random episodes that give you like really good content, a lot of fun. At least, I mean, in this case, the show is already chaos, so that's not really a thing we're missing in the show. But I feel like that makes the extra heightened chaos even better.
Yeah,
And
and we get like music and stuff with it too.
yeah, we get music with it, and I mean, where's my notes? Where am I in my notes?
I love that you always do this.
Every time I'm like, I'm gonna say something, I'm like, where am I? But I kind of loved that like the melted Kuchikopi fever dream was more or less evil Kuchikopi.
Because he's
Like,
so mad they destroyed him.
yeah, so he's blocking out the sunlight so that no one can enjoy any of their daytime activities anymore.
And I mean, I really love it too because it's showing, like Louise wanting to put walls up because she's so
Yeah.
angry and like processing emotions in a kid,
Mm-hmm.
which is so funny to me that we go from this point of like, this is a fever dream, it's fun, to this like emotional storyline of a child learning that they shouldn't put walls up around them and
Mm-hmm. And forgive
be
their
for
family.
and forgive their family is like it's done so well.
It is. And like so I mean I'll admit it was a little predictable because like I obviously I put in my notes like they're gonna melt that thing, aren't they? Called it like as soon as like oh yeah, you know the oven. I feel like putting it up to 200 is probably a bad idea.
I mean, then immediately touching it.
Yeah, that wasn't smart.
You
But
just leave it alone. All it's supposed to do is get I mean, obviously, it came out of the oven. Don't touch it.
exactly. But like you let it
Like,
warm, you let it kind of do its thing, and then you can reshape it. I mean, there was no getting it back to normal. That wasn't
no.
happening, regardless. Like if they wanted something that was exactly an exact replica of the original, they needed to buy a new one. But I mean, I
Yeah.
understand from a 9-year-old's perspective, you don't mess with a kid's favorite toy, and it was a
No.
genuine accident.
I mean, Kuchikopi has boobs now.
Kuchikopi does have boobs.
I'm happy for Kuchi. I wonder if you can actually buy the melted Kuchikopi.
That's a good question. I want evil Kuchikopi.
Melted
I want
Kuchikopi
the
toy.
I
You
want
can
Kuchikopi's
buy.
I want the Kuchikopi fortress. Did they make that a la like the Barbie dream house?
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Kuchikopi fortress. If not, I need someone to like
You
create
can
like
get
a.
a melted one, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
Okay,
If
so
you
I don't see a fortress, but you can get a melted Kuchikopi.
okay, so can someone just design like an aftermarket a Kuchikopi fortress Lego set?
Please, Lego, you are missing a fan base here.
I'm
Can you
surprised they
imagine
haven't.
Bob's Burgers Lego? Like, I
I'm
want to build Bob's
surprised.
Burgers.
I'm genuinely surprised that it like a Bob's Burgers restaurant Lego set doesn't exist because they've done Simpsons houses. Like there was the Office set. Like I think those do usually start as ideas sets, so maybe someone's come up with one. It just doesn't have enough votes yet to be considered for to be built.
So you've got all the people like on Reddit and stuff that decided to just do it themselves,
Okay.
but there's no sets. So you can look up. I wonder if people give the instructions or if they said they designed a Bob's Burgers set. Oh, someone's like, oh, everybody's like asking, can we please have the instructions? And they're not listed.
Well, because that's the thing is like when people design these sets themselves. Like I mean, I know it's complicated to design the instructions yourself, but like you can at least tell people here, like you because you can do pick a brick online.
Yeah.
It's so like you can buy like the necessary pieces yourself, and like I don't know. I mean,
You could just write as you. I mean, you're designing it. Like, I mean,
yeah,
even if you sold the design, which is a thing,
yeah.
even if it's like a few bucks, like it's not a digital download of how
Mm-hmm.
to build Bob's Burgers and Lego
Yeah.
would be so freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't mind paying a couple of bucks for that.
No, not at all.
Like,
And designing them takes time, and like I'm sure like
mhm.
making the actual instructions themselves like does take time of like explaining where things go and everything. But like, there's a market for it.
There very much is a market for it. Or is there like a? Because I don't think there's like a legal thing. It's like take its free market of designing things. You can design a set, but not provide all of the set. Just the.
Well, yeah, you provide the instructions and the necessary pieces, and then people can go to Lego and buy the necessary pieces themselves.
All right, Lego. We have requests. Can you please? All right, is 2025 the year we convinced Lego to make Bob's Burger Lego?
Maybe it is. Do I just start going to Legoland that's near me and start yelling at employees until it happens? I don't know how getting Lego sets built works.
What does Lego have threads?
Do they?
I'm looking. Are we gonna let Lauren bully Lego? Lego has threads.
Hang on, let me follow them. Yeah, if you didn't know at this point, Lauren is primarily the person who posts on threads, which is why it gets as unhinged as it
Yeah.
does. Because Katie mistakenly during our coffee chat with our Patreon, which if you want to join our Patreon and you want to get extra content, links in the show notes. Katie mistakenly said her favorite thing to come out of our podcast is me
That's not a
going feral
mistake.
on
I said
threads.
what I said.
So I've been given that's me. So I've been given permission to just
As I
go
open threads
off
and
the
all I
rails.
see is you posting a picture of Catherine Hahn and Audrey Plaza kissing again.
I stand by what I said. The chokehold that woman's existence had on my life was almost gone until that picture came out. I said what I said.
It's just we're in a wonderful world of media right now.
Yeah, it's such a good time. This is
This
this
is
is our
all we
friendship.
do.
Welcome to that. Truthfully. Like I think we said this in I think we either said it in the last once episode or we said it during the coffee chat. Like
Yeah.
we record maybe about 2% of our actual conversations because I mean truthfully not everything needs to be on the internet. But at the end of the day, like it's a good sample size of what you'd expect if you talk to us.
Yeah. And see, they don't get to see my superior GIF usage.
That's true. They don't. That was so. Oh, that was so good.
It was
Because
so good. I will forever be proud of that moment. So, for context, Lauren sent me a video of Audrey Plaza in all her gloriousness.
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza. I have a friend named Audrey. I can't help it. My brain.
I know. I'm just saying.
I know I'm bad at that. I'll get used to it. And I replied with the GIF of Hetty. What is it? She says, "Is this?"
Is this a seduction? Am I being seduced?
I've never been more proud of a moment.
So Hetty from Ghost, which is another show that I got Katie to watch.
I need to get you to watch something other than
I
Bob's
know. Well,
Burgers.
because here's the thing. I have a hard time with like as soon as someone tells me to do something, I instinctively do not want to do it. So like that's like why I never watch like it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why like when with the Peter Pan movie,
Yeah.
never watched it. Like it's I have a
At this
hard
point, A Knight's
time
Tale
doing
is
my
going to have to go
thickness.
on the list of movies just to get you to watch it.
Most likely,
And that
yes.
one's amazing.
Like, I need,
like that's not like a
I
Peter Pan thing. That's just amazing work.
I'm sure it's very good, but yeah, it's the demand avoidance. I don't. It's not healthy. I'm aware of this.
All right. So what method do I now need to use to get you to do things? What is your motivation of choice? This was a dangerous question, apparently.
this is a dangerous question. I mean, the motivation of choice for the most part really is attractive women.
Okay, but there's an attractive woman in Knight's Tale.
But all you were telling me about was Paul Bettany. Not that I don't care about him,
no.
but like
Okay. But it has this pretty lady in it, and I love her. What's her name?
Okay.
I should probably say her name.
I have no idea.
Like maybe I should say
don't know
her
what her name
name. Her name is, because my computer's always dumb, Shannon Sossaman. She's very pretty. I like her a lot.
But yeah, the demand avoidance. This comes up a lot with like my TikTok lives, with the singing lives,
Yeah.
like because there are a selection of shows that I almost always intentionally, and I say this, I intentionally never learn them because people that I don't like them, and therefore I never want to learn them. But it's also now become a thing of the more something I don't know gets requested, the less likely I am to ever learn it. So like the more and more stuff gets requested from Ride the Cyclone or from Hades Town or from Heathers or from Mean Girls, the more of those requests I see, the less and less likely I am to ever listen to those
There's
soundtracks.
only like one song I like from Mean Girls. It's
Same.
by Janice. It's the one song that Janice sings.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, Janice.
Janice.
That's I'd rather be me.
Yeah. That's like the one song I like from that musical.
No, Sexy is Karen's song. That's the one song I like.
Yeah. It's a good song. I'm not saying it's not good. I just really love
No, it's
the
catchy.
other one.
No.
What did you rate this one?
So this episode gets a 29. It got 10s for
Ooh.
plot and for character. It got a 9 for personal because I already hated the Toy Store scene, but I hate it even more now, so it gets a 29.
Mine's a 30, which was probably
Okay.
like it's one I never skip. Like a lot of the times
Mm-hmm.
because I rewatch this show so much, many times when I get back to the end again and just restart because it's on my TV a lot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as we already know, season 7 is about where
Yes.
I start. Um,
Okay.
because I would start from 10, but that's only not even 4 or 5 seasons of content since
Mm-hmm.
14 is so
Yeah.
short. And so, but if I
Yeah.
start from 7, where I really love this episode, it seems to work really well to have like enough episodes because I've seen the first 10 seasons
Mm-hmm.
so much to the point like I recently was actually really trying to actually pay attention to the more recent seasons as I'm rewatching, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't remember this episode. I need to watch these more. So there's episodes that have happened in the past few years that I've seen and haven't rewatched all that much. So I'm like, I should get to know that better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Episode 2. See Me Now.
You sound so excited.
Teddy invites the Belcher family to go out on his boat for a day, only for the family to find out he is trying to show off his boat to his ex, Denise. He crashes the boat and takes off, nearly sinking them all. They end up on Caffrey's private island, get chased by cows, have to cross a rickety bridge, and then almost get attacked by an angry man with a weed whacker. Through their journey, Linda tries to help Teddy work through his feelings with Denise. To Bob's dismay, her help leads Teddy to insisting he'll fix his marriage. The angry man tells the story of Caffrey's unrequited love, and Bob compares Teddy to Caffrey, insisting he should let go of Denise. They get a ride back to the main island as they're towing Teddy's boat behind them. Teddy uses a flare gun to sink the See Me Now. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
Pair of Dice City Dice Outlet. That's also hard to say. It's
It
a lot of
is.
things together.
It's for the Guns N' Roses song Paradise City
And Mouse Hunters International Pest Control.
for House Hunters.
Yes. So there were technically 2 burgers.
Yes.
Technically. So they have You Spinach Right Round Baby Spinach Burger.
You're having fun with this.
It's so hard to say today this week. And then the Wasabi My Guest Burger.
Which is very fitting for this week.
Yeah.
But you got your 3 burgers.
Yes, I got my 3 burgers in total.
So
I can't be too unhappy.
yeah. This episode was dedicated to the memory of Julia Kalantarova, who worked as a background painter on the show. She passed away on September 27th, 2016, after a 2-year battle with breast cancer. And so they actually did set up like a GoFundMe page for her for financially helping the family, including donations from the cast and crew. She was later honored during the memoriam segment of the 2017 Annie Awards. So sad moment, but like I always say, I like to include this when it's what this was dedicated to.
Yeah.
Teddy's ex-wife Denise previously appeared in a flashback in Bed and Breakfast. She's blonde in that instead of brown hair, but we know that they dye hair in this show.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Caffrey, of Caffrey Taffy Company, is brought up again in this episode. He was seen as a corpse in human flesh, and then of course revealed in the factory during the Belchies, like explaining of him. And so this is shows where he has his private island. So we get Caffrey lore every few seasons, which is kind of fun because he's the body that Linda thinks is a present in the first episode, and of course everything else following that. I wrote down 3 lines.
I did as well, I think. 3? Yeah, 3.
I just wrote, it tastes like success.
The smoke is coming from the motor? I thought we were slow roasting ribs.
Dead raccoons act like they own the road.
I had that one too. You'd think if you could afford a private island, you could get rid of the danger.
So he'll be dead, but you still want to impress her, which is my entire feeling on this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
While Teddy has been easier to consume, this episode,
This was not one where I would say this is not like a case like with like Uncle Teddy was a Teddy focused one where like that one was a good version of
yes,
him.
a
I
good
can
side
say
of him.
it was a palatable version of him. I would say this is a case of even though I would say on the whole I've been desensitized to his presence, it's still just too much Teddy.
Like, you get the secondhand embarrassment through this episode.
Yeah, like I wrote down at the very end, Teddy, stop trying to win back your ex-wife, like in all caps.
And she's so confused seeing him because she's just like, why are you here? Because after a divorce, usually you try not to see your ex as much as possible.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a tiny bit. But is this the same person that she cheated on him with who was in a mascot costume, or is this a different person?
This is the same person.
So what kind of mascot was he dressed as?
Oh, I don't what kind of...
Was it a seal?
I think it was a seal.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't make me feel any better.
Ray or Sammy Sea Lion, I think. Was it Sammy Sea Lion?
He was dressed...
I'm making sure. Appearance, her boyfriend's name is Ray. What does it say? That was the weirdest part too. Like, she was like, would make him use the bathroom outside, and like, oh, your head looks like a butt, which is why he wears a hat. Oh man.
Yeah, it was a lot of dumping on Teddy this episode as well.
It was, but I'm not seeing where I guess I'm not seeing that. Where what it was. Oh, no, that's what Teddy leaves with the person in an owl costume, not who she slept with. But yeah, no, yeah. This is the woman that cheated on him with a person dressed as a mascot.
Okay.
Which I've worked for like stadiums, and I'm just gonna say, ew.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because the people that are in it, I know it's the effect that mascot uniform has on you.
Oh yeah.
Like, you end up sweating your entire body sweats the whole time you're in that.
There's nowhere for it to go.
Nowhere. Like, my one friend who is the mascot for the stadium I do work at, because obviously I see him without everything on. The moment that thing comes off, he's just pouring sweat. There's like fans that are built into the head, but they only work so well when you're in it for 3 hours.
Well, yeah, because like blowing air on you, circulating air is fine if air can get out.
Exactly.
Like, you're just circulating hot air.
So, and he has to take break. Like, you can't stay in it for very long, especially where we live. Like, he has to take periodic breaks and things like that. I love that we're back on the mascot. It's so funny. Like,
yeah, right.
Ray's the guy that owns the bar, which cool, Oceanside Bar. That's pretty cool. But Teddy's obsession with impressing her is just so annoying through this, because it's like, y'all been divorced obviously for a while. We're on season 7, and it's like we find out about his divorce in season 1, of course, but like, how's he still held up on this woman?
Yeah, and it's the fact of like he was basically trying to do a drive-by on a boat, and I was like, if you want to talk to her, dock the fucking boat.
Well, I mean, he technically kind of docked it.
I mean, yeah, not intentionally.
Unintentionally. Also, he used the radio on his costume, so didn't have that. But who needs 2 steering wheels when you then sunk the boat? So
now he has no steering wheels. I'm trying to see what like the legal like allowments are for characters at Disney World. Out of curiosity, I can't find. I'm having a hard time finding. So I'm like curious, like legally, how long they can be on stage.
Okay, so yeah, like it's kind of crazy though. Like, maybe the ones in Disney are built better than the ones I've seen.
I doubt it. I'm now looking at a Business Insider article out of curiosity, because apparently there's like a 4-month training process.
Oh my god.
To be in the suits. Disney Worlds apparently do not have fans inside them.
Ooh, it's in Florida.
Exactly. Uh, but this article does not say like how long they're legally allowed to be. They just say safety is number one priority. But I'm curious how long they can legally be in the suit. I don't know. I'll try and find it. Now I'm curious, but I'll look it up later. This is not a right now priority.
Random mascots again.
It's great. But yeah, crashing into the dock and was not great boatsmanship. But I also, at the very beginning of the episode, I wrote down, the Belchers and large travel vessels never go well.
They never do.
Like, historically, they don't do so well.
They need to just maybe stay home. Like, maybe stay home and keep the restaurant open.
Maybe, yeah, that's the thing, is like, that I love Bob's, like, optimism of, like, well, we can go as long as we're back by the lunch rush. And I'm like,
you're not going to be back in time.
Have you seen your own show? Like, that's not how that works.
Show?
It's not how that works. But, like, because, like, we think about it with a large travel vessel. So, yes, we've got, like, small-sized boats, cruise ships, airplanes, trains, buses, trucks. Like, at this point, I think we've hit most large travel vessels except for like a horse-drawn carriage. Honestly. And they always go
the kids tend to go on the ferry, but, you know, because remember they take the ferry over to King's Head Island.
That's true. The ferry to King's Head Island is the only thing that hasn't, like, sunk on them.
Give it time. I'm saying that because, like, who knows? Maybe that'll be another storyline eventually. As of right now, it doesn't sink on them, like, in the storyline. But I'm just waiting for it to be a storyline at this point because, like you say, they have so many issues when it comes to this stuff.
Mm-hmm. This is true. So, what was with the fucking cows?
I don't...
I understand the thing of, like, he got the Highland cows to impress the woman, and I guess they just stayed and bred whatever. Why were they so aggressive?
Maybe it's because they don't see people very often. Because if the only man they see is the old man with the weed whacker, that's the only person they know. It's a private island. They never interact with human beings.
Yeah, that was it. But it also, again, that comes to mind the thing I said in Jurassic Park about the velociraptors or the dinosaurs in general being very aggressive towards the humans, because when you have no interaction with humans, you have to be taught that that's something worth killing. So, like, what happened to these cows?
At least with the velociraptors in Jurassic Park, they had humans that were treating them poorly. Like, some treated them great, but they had, like, they're scary beings and they were fed by a claw. Like, if you have, by the way, if you're interested in our thoughts on Jurassic Park, the book and movie, that is an episode that's already out.
It is. Let me find the title real fast, because our titles aren't always the most indicative of
really
what they're about. I tried to make the Wicked one clear.
Oh, good.
That one is, did you know it's that one will have been out for months because this is coming out in February. That one did you know she's Glinda the Good, not Glinda the Kind.
Oh, I like that. I hadn't looked yet.
How dare you not pay attention to our content?
Because the amount of mornings that I wake up and at like 2:00 in the morning, hey, this episode's up.
Can I help it that I'm productive at night?
Sleep, woman, sleep.
Sleep is for the weak. Our Jurassic Park special, look it up. It's special. Did you know the real horror element is dial-up?
Oh my god, that was the title.
Because we went on such a long rant about how, like, this, like, high technology park, because it's the 90s, was run on dial-up.
Can you imagine that now? Like, oh, gotta get off the phone so I can unlock the dinosaur's cage.
Honestly, though, I feel like putting, like, anyone under the age of, like, 22 in a room with access to the internet, but it's only dial-up.
Oh, but it has to be a rotary phone.
What they're doing. Has to be a rotary phone. Yes, that would be a horror movie. That's an unwinnable escape room.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Just put my 10-year-old knows how to use a rotary phone. I can say that because my grandmother was telling her about rotary phones at one point, but then we went out and, like, I think it was like thrifting or something, and we ended up finding like it wasn't an actual rotary, but it still it was like a decor or something, but the thing still worked. And so then we're sitting there explaining to my daughter that you had to, like, turn every number, had to, like, go back, turn that number, let it go back, and she's just like, this takes forever.
Like, yes, and imagine you had to do this every single
There,
time. There's
no
no
speed
speed dial.
dial. I mean, I remember when we finally had like, oh god,
And to be fair, speed dial, like as a
caller ID.
term, is also
Yeah,
outdated.
speed dial is outdated. Caller ID is just normal for everything now.
Yeah.
But I remember when we finally
Yeah.
got caller ID, I was like, I know exactly who's calling me.
Mm-hmm.
This is great. That was not a thing.
Yeah. Well, what's still funny for us is, I mean, because since everyone's phone was purchased under like the original plan that ran by my dad, our phone on all of our phone numbers, unless we specifically programmed them in phones as other things, like on people, because people do still have
Yeah,
landlines. I have landlines.
we do not.
Like all of our phone numbers still come up under my
Oh,
dad's
that's so
name
funny.
because they're all registered to him. So
My grandmother still has a landline, and it's so funny because my son will take the phone and start like trying to dial people, and I try and take it away, and she's like, no, it's fine. And then next thing you know, he's trying to call China, and I'm like, stop giving the 4-year old the phone.
well, okay. So last night, and this is a preface. My grandmother is
Yeah.
86 years old. I love her, but technology sometimes eludes her. She called me and I couldn't answer yet because I was just getting in the car, so I just let it go to voicemail while I was getting ready. And I went to call her back, and every time I went to call her, I went to call her back on her cell phone because that's what I usually call her on. That's what she usually calls me, and it kept going to voicemail. I'm like, okay, I figured she's leaving me a voicemail. That's fine. The first time, I wait a few seconds, try again, same thing. She forgot to hang up the phone, so the voicemail she was leaving me just kept going till eventually I just gave up and called her house phone.
Wow.
And
That's hilarious.
and so she's like, "Oh, you don't normally call me on the house phone." I'm like, "Check your phone. I think you're still online with my cell."
So, any other thoughts on See Me Now?
Teddy, you've doomed them all. That's what the first note that I saw was Teddy, you've doomed them all because
He
he did.
did.
But I find it interesting that why is one side of the island very nice and the other side is like hiking terrain and Highland cows?
He was trying to make it similar to Scotland. I don't know.
It's very
It is
confusing.
extremely
But
confusing, but that's what we have of
but
Caffrey lore.
yeah. And then I wrote down fare thee well, eraser.
Oh yeah, the subplot
Because
of
throughout this episode,
the phone eraser the whole time.
yeah, the entire time Tina's like she wants to prove that she's responsible enough to have her own cell phone. Then she realizes that it takes her away from the now to focus so much on her cell phone, and it's not even focusing on like using it. It's just focusing for her, just focusing on keeping it. And I'm like, that's not usually the concern.
Oh, have you met me? I'm
Focusing on making sure you
yes.
don't lose it. Okay, here's
I
the
lose
thing.
my phone all the
For
time.
me, here's the thing. This is why I wear men's pants because they have pockets big enough for my phone. It's always on my person. I can always feel it.
Not all my pants have pockets. I hate wearing pants too. So if I'm at home, unless it's cold, there's no pants in the equation. Um, I've literally left this thing in the refrigerator before.
Nice.
The refrigerator, random places in my bathroom. Like, I don't have an Apple Watch right now. It sadly died. But like back when my husband bought me my Apple Watch, he didn't buy it so I'd have one. He bought it because he was sick of trying to help me find my phone.
Yeah, that is one benefit of the cult of Apple is you can do this.
Yeah, I can't do that right now, and
And it'll ping. So I clicked a button on my watch. So if it's like that happen, I'll admit I lose my phone in my bed and like in the sheets and
mm-hmm.
everything. Like that's when like I use that. Like where did it go? But for the most part, I can't say losing my phone is a thing that I'm concerned
Yeah,
about.
that's a thing for me. I lose track of this
But
thing all the time. There's literally times that I go to look for my phone and it's in my hand. Like that's how my brain
mm-hmm.
works. I've literally like been like, "Where's my phone?" And I've been like talking to my grandmother on the phone. I'm like, "I can't find my phone," and she's like, "Katie, you're you're on it." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am talking to you through a device."
Yes, it's not just the voices in your head anymore.
Oh shit. Oh wait. Oh shit. It's a little
Love you.
accurate, but thank you. I love you too. Um. Oh, look, I'm not the only one that has the lovely joy of maladaptive daydreaming. It
Oh yeah, no, it
happens.
happens.
Like I don't imagine entire scenarios in my head. Like right? Like everybody does that.
Yeah, that's healthy. Sure. I turned them into works of fiction, but I'm sure it's
Look,
healthy. It's
when I
fine.
found out my husband doesn't have an inner monologue, I felt feelings because I was like, how do you not have an inner monologue?
The fact that people like that
I, and
exist
he's
still
one of
baffles
them.
me. Yeah.
He also doesn't see pictures in his head when he reads.
Yeah, I found that that's weirdly enough common. People that think in concepts don't often visualize when they read.
Yeah, I visualize when I read.
Like, yeah, like people that have an inner monologue and like like for me, like this is why I always say when I read, this is so off topic, but who cares at this point? Like
It's a Teddy episode.
this is true. Like when I reason why I read usually physically and with the audiobook is because listening to the audiobook turns off my inner narrator voice, which slows me down.
Mm-hmm.
And it just helps me read. It just helps me read faster in general. But like, and I said this to a friend of mine, and she's like, I don't have an inner narrator voice. I don't. I just look at the words. Like, what? This concept does not occur to me.
Maybe that's why some people find reading boring because I can see all these pictures and what's happening in my head, and it's like a
Yeah.
movie inside of my brain. And other people are like, it's words on paper, and I'm like, but reading's so fun. It's like watching a movie in my brain.
Well, this is like my dad's thing. I mean, he and I have this conversation a lot, but it was this thing. It was we're talking about audiobooks now. It counts as reading, and because audiobooks count as reading, obviously.
Yes, point
But
blank.
his justification was because it's altering your inner narrator and like in your interpretation of the story because you're getting it through the lens of this person. And I
Mm-hmm.
counted them like it might do that, and I sometimes do that intentionally because I want to read faster. But alternatively, not everyone has an inner narrator because I use my friend as an example, and he hadn't thought of that because that's how he reads also.
Mm-hmm. And also, it is reading because it lights up the same exact part of your brain as reading a physical book does.
Exactly.
Um, what did you rate this?
So this one, I gave it a 7 for plot. It was chaos. I could have done without most of it. Um, best I can say. It's one thing is it was fine, is what I can say. As that's what I would say about sevens. I got an 8 for character. I liked the subplot of Tina with the phone
Mm-hmm.
eraser. That bumped it up, I think, from a 7 to an 8 because I thought there's some personal growth if she's realizing she's not ready for a cell phone just yet. And a 7 for personal because again, it was fine. There's a lot of Teddy, whatever. So this one gets a 22.
Oh my!
Is that higher than you thought?
No, it's just higher than mine.
Okay.
Um, I gave the plot 4.
I love when we have super low scores for Bob episodes. Honestly, it's hilarious.
Because it's so rare for me.
Well, because also Bob's, it's
Um,
hard to give. I would say it's hard to give like super low scores just because not that there's not a whole lot of meat to them. They're
yeah,
just entertainment.
enter Teddy. Um, character I gave 5. Personal I gave 4. So
Wow.
this got a 13 from me.
Is this the first episode that either of us have given below a 15?
Ooh, let's see. Is it for Bob's?
For Bob's, yeah, because I've given below 15 for once all the time. But yeah, I haven't given anything. My lowest scores for Bob's episodes are 16s.
My lowest is a 17 before now.
So there you go. This is the first episode below 15
So
for
this
Bob's.
is the low. No, I'm sorry, 16.
Okay.
The unbearable likeness of Jean had a 16. This is my lowest rated Bob's Burgers episode yet.
Okay. Yeah, I also gave the unbearable likeness of Gina 16, and I also gave Fortnite a 16.
So this is my lowest rated Bob's, a 13.
This is
I
lowest.
hate this
It's the
episode. I
lowest for both
can't
of us.
stand Teddy's anything.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Like he just is this is a skippable episode.
Mm-hmm.
This is skippable. I would skip this.
Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 316. It's Not Easy Being Green. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our Patreon, you can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.